bolder every day as the state makes them complacent. So the real confrontation that happens between the police and the pastoralist, in my opinion, they take two shapes. This one that you're talking about could be only a politically tensions between the community and the police, because I have seen some clip. I think it was yesterday where they were asking the police that, or did you come here to sleep, or we have lost this amount of, how much help are you giving us, and in that pure confrontation, and the state is not as stable as it is at the moment, and the state has lost popular opinion, it is difficult to control people that do not trust the state anymore. So my answer to you will be, uh, I think the government needs to rethink. And if there are issues to address around militias and illicit flows, it is difficult for the same politicians that are beneficiaries of such criminal activities and see their usefulness to stop them. In fact, I don't think ally President William Samoei Ruto will be bothered by stopping militias, especially if those militias are supporting his unpopular government. It will be upon the Kenyan people, just like we have been dealing with illegal abductions and illegal police activities, to practically stop President William Samoei Ruto in his new formula to deal with opponents by deploying, armed militia, and even being complicit on how they carry out their activities anywhere in Kenya. Maybe that would be my comment in regard to that question, Eli.
Thank you very much, Comrade Book, and we do appreciate you coming on, especially at this time and hour, because wewe sasa ni lazima unatembea na majira. You have to look left, right, and center. But don't, but people should not move closer because wakicheza nao utawapiga masasi. But anyway,
Okay.
I hope you're doing well, Book. On a serious note, I hope you're doing well. It's been quite a testing moment for you and, of course, your party, and at large, all political players who are speaking against bad governance in this country. And we want to help by saying that it is important for us to contain this conversation within the reach of the law and ensure that we are part of the solution and not part of the problem. So I would love to continue the conversation, but we are coming towards the end. And therefore, I will request my good brother Obed to stop admitting more speakers. Otherwise, I'll start charging overtime. And I know you don't want to do that. So let's start with you. Justice for All, followed by Malia, and then we'll have Paul Giver and Vicious in that order. So, Justice for All, greetings to you. I know when we talk about Chinkororo, that rings a bell. So, the floor is yours.
I was waiting to introduce that word. I was waiting to introduce it.
All right, introduce to us Chinkororo.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Booker. That was very good submission. I've been listening all the way from the beginning. Good conversation. But what we are dealing with right now is when the country is not governed by the rule of law, then of course we have to bring in other people to protect us. Shoot, this is being recorded. Anyways, if they pick me up, that's fine. You guys will champion for me. So anyway, so my point is,
you are not such a threat. Wewe ongea tu.
so I'm just kidding. You know that. So my point is, the reason as to why even when you travel to the country, Atakamani Obeds is going to his village in Yamaya, he wants to look for other people to protect him, is because there's no law. Okay, that's a bad statement I just made right there. The reason as to why the Chinkororo, the Mungiki, the other people have to come and the ones to protect us in our small barazas and everybody is because the people we expect to protect us are not available. If I went into my village is called Bomorito, and then I say that maybe, just but maybe, God forbid, I'm being attacked, and I want to call 999, will they show up? I'm trying to paint you a picture, Booker, as a political leader, so that you understand why these militias exist. They exist because the real people who are supposed to protect you can't show up. You be in the village and you get attacked. Nani atakutetea? Lazima utafute vijana wako wakutetee, si ndio? So we are dealing with a country, my country, where we are struggling to like, who protects Eli, who protects Justice for All, who protects Obets, who protects Booker? The answer is we don't know, because they will not show up. So for me, the Mungiki and other militias, they exist because they are becoming the alternative protection for you and me. So I'm not in support of the militias of this world, but I am asking you, what's better? How then do you as a leader, a political leader, Booker, how do you protect yourself? So I will land by saying this whole issue about the militias and this whole thing is an alternative to what you and me and the government cannot receive. And for that reason, Eli, as much as you want to castigate the militias and the Mungikis of this world, tell me if your police will protect you when you are going down the street in Naitwaje or Maimayo. Of course, I don't use the road anymore. So the Maimayo road and everywhere, the answer is we're here because the country put us into this place. Thanks. But I just wanted to appreciate Buka's submission. That was very good. Thanks, Eli.
Wow. These spaces will surprise you when you hear the reasons why some things happen. Then again, those are your opinion. Thank you very much, Justice for All. You say kama huwezi chungwa utajichunga mwenyewe, sheria mkononi, literally. Maria Davis, good evening. How are you?
Good evening. Fine, thank you.
You planning to hire a militia to protect you?
No, there's no need for that. So the thing with Mungiki is that Mainanjenga's father started Mungiki to protect Kikuyus. So these were young Kikuyu men who were supposed to protect Kikuyus when there was clashes, which were instigated by the government by then. So that is how it started. And it was a pseudo-religious group whereby they were reverting from Christianity back to Kikuyu traditional religion. So the genesis was good. Mainanjenga's father had good intentions. However, Mainanjenga was taking advantage of these boys, and he's still taking advantage of them. These are very, very poor people, and he uses them to get money. What he was doing, extorting money from businesses. You heard the other day Gachagua saying that even having a wedding, they've started asking to be paid some money for you to do a wedding. When you're doing a wedding, you pay them some kind of tax. And by the time Mishuki came in, these boys were collecting a lot of money. And even the way they were being recruited was almost forceful. Because how it was that, excuse me, sorry about my voice. So they were being recruited almost forcibly. They were being oathed. And then they would go and pick money from the stages, from people who are building, security from the slums, illegal electricity connection, water. They were pseudo government, and they were collecting lots of money, and all that money was going to Mainanjenga and Akina Ndura Waruingi. That money was not going to help those boys. Any money that was coming from like 2007 or 2008, the M-Pesa that was going to Mungiki was not going to those boys. It was going to to Mainanjenga. Mainanjenga is a very wealthy person. Whatever money he may be receiving from Ruto to tame the dissent in Mount Kenya, it's going to him. It's not helping those boys. Those boys are being galvanized by this guy who is now pretending he started by pretending he's converted to Christianity. He's a pastor. But if you hear what when he's with his group of boys, they sing songs which Mau Mau used to sing, war songs about Kikuyu traditional religion, talking about Mwenenyaga and all that. So, like the previous person has just said here, that these militias are there because law and order, the people who are supposed to be providing law and order are not doing it. So because Kikuyus could not be protected by the government against the government of Moi and William Ruto, who was in Y2K by then, they had to protect themselves. And our nature of our politics now is about violence, by the way. Before, women aspirants used to say that they are not getting anywhere with politics because it's too violent. You could see the other day Elachi, when they were doing the in Bomas, the way she was telling those goons, ODM goons, to piga Morara. So our politics generally, it's chaotic, it's it's violent to a large extent. The use of force and intimidation is a thing. That's why you could see Abdul Rama, whatever his name, Mombasa governor, as it was allegedly sending some people to gang rape a blogger who was talking against him. A blogger who was blogging against the governor of Meru also died under mysterious circumstances. And now the other day, yesterday, it was an activist in Molo. So violence is part of our politics. That's number one. Number two is that all these militias, all what they are poor people who are following a leader with some hope that, I don't know which hope, but and the sense of belonging. But the person who is a beneficiary of all these militia, particularly, let me not talk about the others because I don't know much about them, but Mungiki particularly. Mungiki, any money which is going into Mungiki is going straight to Njenga Njenga's pocket. Those boys are benefiting nothing. And that's why they keep on following him, because they're not getting anything out of it. Even the money they used to collect out of the time when they were really doing well, that time before Mechuki came in, they were making a lot of money and it was all going to him. They were getting something very minimal. And many of them entered Mungiki by force that time. Like if you become a young man of age, they would force you to enter and oath you so that you cannot be able to leave. And then they are being used when it comes to election time. But then when they got out of hand and Meshuki now started killing them, nothing, So there was my Nanjenga. He's made his money. These boys are now being killed because they've been criminalized. The movement or the militia has been proscribed. But when you need them, like during post-election or when there's an election or when now you want to stem dissent in particularly Mount Kenya East, now they're good, So these boys are actually victims. They are being misused. And then when the tide turns, it's them who are going to be killed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Malia. You know, I've been given some reference to a tweet recently, and this is quite strange because the people that speak about bad leadership, they actually try to condone alternative options of silencing those who they believe are against their leadership. My attention is drawn to Donald Kiprorir tweet. I believe that was yesterday. Who said Mungiki, led by Maina Njenga, was prescribed as a terrorist organization, rather proscribed as a terrorist organization. Mungiki killed many Kikuyus and Luos over time. To use Maina Njenga and his terrorists to intimidate Mount Kenya is diabolical. Political differences can never justify unleashing terrorists on Kenyans. And Robert Alai, MCA Kileleshwa, went ahead to say, if you say it's okay to have digital terrorists, what's wrong in using physical terrorists to counter that? What's good for the goose? It's equally good for the gander. And I think, obviously, you remember we had a conversation recently with Kileleshwa, member of county assembly, who said that it is sometimes needed to have a gang to give you protection when you're going to campaign in these areas. And the word is gang. So looks like we agree from the political view that it's okay to have gangs. And that's why Justice was actually saying, what would you do if the national security fails you? You deploy your own. Obviously, I'll give you opportunity, then you go to vicious in that order. Go ahead.
Yeah, just wanted to probably voice my sentiment on the fact that you have to accept and learn that the political class and those who vie for political office are very good at doublespeak, and contradictions don't bother them because it depends on what interest they are serving at the time. Booker might disagree, but I think it's something that is commonplace. And a lie for what he is. And I said, other than the terrorists they are calling Mungiki or the militias they are saying, anybody who is in these spaces making the noise that people are making, that's why you're being called online what? Militia or terrorists. And that's what you're doing just because you're making it uncomfortable for government. You're debunking everything that is being thrown out there. Everything that is said that is not making sense, Kenyans are sharp enough now. You go, people research and debunk the whole nonsense. So it is worrying the political class and it's making them sit uncomfortable. But as we said, let them sit on pins. This is the most beautiful moment. For those who love football, remember squeaky bum time for Man United fans? That makes a lot of sense now. Make it uncomfortable for the political class. They cannot sit in peace. Let them worry what's going to happen next. They are trying to do things to survive. These movements are being done just to ensure that they fit and adjust. I'll be curious. I'd really want to see how the Finance Bill 2025, for instance, is going to be presented. Are they going to go and do the same thing that they did, or they're going to now look for a way through the back door to do that? I don't know, but I'll be curious to see what will be the role of public participation. But it tells you, speaks to the fact that now things that people were not conscious of, people were not aware of, are part of what Kenyans are talking about right now. So the anticipation, expectation, and demand remains. So let us demand. A lie is a gun for hire. And you remember even when we invited him, he said no. Then when he came to the space, we asked him questions, he gave excuses. It's just how they operate. When it suits them, they'll come to the spaces to make noise. But when it doesn't, they will be elsewhere and demean and say these spaces mean nothing. So happily for us, let's be focused on the picture, the bigger picture, the plan to make a difference. And just know that a majority of the people in the political space today, come 2027, might actually not come back. And that's will be a very good turnover, and I look forward to that. So who was supposed to go next is Vicious. Your opportunity, please.
Okay, thank you for giving me another opportunity. And what I just want to say is to add on what I had said earlier. Now, the government knows that this idea of abducting using the government agents, it's not tenable. It will only lead to the citizens detesting the government even more. And this is why actually they are sponsoring the militia to come in and do the dirty work, the arm of the government that was abducting people was doing. And now it will be even more lethal. Most likely, once they abduct you, most likely they'll just go and kill you. And the kind of killings, if you can remember, they used to do was whereby you would find your mutilated body parts at different places, maybe dumped at different places, which was highly chilling and causing a lot of fear to the people who lived where they operated. So I think that is what I wanted to add. The main reason why they are being brought, and most likely they may not even be given so much money in terms of funds, but they can be told that you're going now to operate with the state protection. And I could hear that from Maina Jenga. There's a meeting that he held some 3 weeks ago, where he said that now the people who are stopping you from the operations of this or from our operations, now they'll be protecting you. So what that means is simply that they are going to be operating within the protection of the state agencies. I land.
Thank you very much. Again, painting a different picture of what this conversation is all about. Thank you, Vicious. Is it Vicious Venom? Why would you want to have a venom in your name? And it's very vicious. Is it a venom against bad governance?
Exactly.
All right, now we accept that. Justice for all, I'll give you 2 minutes because we want to start landing. And then after that, we'll be able to go around the room and give each of the speakers 2 minutes for their conclusive remarks. Justice for all, what's your case?
Good conversation. Vicious venom. We bwana, tafuta jina ingine. I'm just joking, by the way. So, what I wanted to say that Mizani, there's a conference coming up in March. I want to encourage any of you that is gonna create a time to attend, please. Wacha niongee na accent yangu ya Kikisii yote. Please plan to attend that conference. It's good for you. It's good for us, and it's also good for the support that we have been building. So I would say that the Mungiki and the militia thing. I have a problem that I want to introduce to Eli and Obed, that when we travel to the country, this is what we expect. And I want you to pay attention to this, Obed, because you are policy person and expert as this. A place, we pay them $45 an hour to protect us, and then that's okay. That's the law. I forget. So my question is this: if I walked into Westland, who protects me? Who protects me? The person who protects me is us at militia, not the police. The police out of duty. Okay, sorry. Okay, go ahead. Eli, I'm done.
No, actually, I'll give you a minute to conclude that, but I'm a bit concerned on what you're driving at. You are stating that you feel insecure when you're in the country, right? So the question is, who is supposed to provide security in this case? And let's also agree you are allowed to hire private security. Now, the thing you talked
Oh
about,
my God, I've tried that. Okay, so tell me, what's the legal framework where I can hire private security? Walk me through that.
no, 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 no. What I'm saying is, if I understand you well, when you talk about when you're having a wedding or an event, whatever place you are in, and you hire someone, truth of the matter is they are coming from a known source, not just a busybody, not somebody who will take a panga and decide to slice people's ears like Peter did in the Bible in the name of protecting Jesus. So
You're a bad person.
what I'm
Okay.
simply putting across is, if that is the case you're trying to put across, then I think there are firms that are security firms that are supposed to provide those services you're asking for. And you, as a Kenyan, if you feel the need to, you can actually go and apply and request for extra security from the police service. But what do I know anyway? Make your point and land.
Okay, so Mungiki and other militia is the topic today. My question to you is that if, for heaven's sake, I have my own event in, I don't know where, whatever, other places, who protects me?
Simply put, the police, who are the
Come
legal
on.
militia.
Okay, back to you. I land at that, because what you are simply saying is completely not even true, because they won't protect you. They are not even there.
I think Justice wants to give me a different tangent to this talk. We'll look at it at a different stage. Let's look at 254 for life. 2 minutes, please.
Thank you, Eli. And of course, thank you for this space. It's been very enlightening. As usual, these spaces, I believe, provide a platform for very many different Kenyans to come and speak their minds, speak out their hearts, and it's also a form of mental and emotional therapy for Kenyans. So I think it works well. And despite, just to dampen the mood for government, despite their so-called efforts to curb social media, even Trump himself backed down on curbing social media temporarily. So again, there's small wins in this movement, and they will still struggle even if they want to, curb social media. So I thank you for the efforts and for the consistency and for always trying to create a balanced conversation. One. Number two, for me, I'd say this simply. Like I said in my opening submission, we know who the original militia is. It's been the police since colonial times, or what was called the Home Guards then. They became the Kenya Police. They were now reformed into the Kenya Police Service and the National Police Service. Of course, as you can imagine, for every single regime that has come in, the police normally operate on the whims and interests of that regime. And so they're the original militia. As I insisted in my earlier submission, I believe all these are sideshows. And the reason why, for me particularly, I do not worry about security and militia, it's because the minute they serve their purpose, they will cease to exist. And trust you me, the moment I can bet anything, I know that if Rigathi becomes quiet, the Mungiki problem will end. Simple as that, because it's paid effort, it's targeted effort, and the minute they get the result, they will all go quiet. That's the whole thing. And fortunately or unfortunately to say, I think Kenyans sit in a very different space as opposed to years ago, because even today, I can say it freely that in Moi's time, we could not speak as freely as we do today. And today, because we have that freedom of speech, we have that freedom of expression, I can easily say that I understand the pains of different Kenyans from the different corners of the country that they come from. And the reason why I believe this is still a sideshow is simply because I'm also analyzing the other small things happening in the background, and I'm thinking that all this is being done to cover up some of the problems going around the nation. And I don't know when Kenyans will just sit and say, you know what, it's high time we give Ruto a blackout mentally. I said this before in a previous space, and I keep saying it every time. I wrote off all these politicians because there's nothing good that will come from them. All this political class. And I say it simply because all these things that they are saying, do not be surprised if at some point, because you've seen it happen before, Joho said there's no day, place, or time they would have a conversation with Ruto, and today they are brothers in arms. So in politics, specifically focusing in Kenya, there are no permanent enemies and there are no permanent friends. Things change because of the whim of the day or the movement of the wind. And as you've seen, there's already those negotiations being, those ideologies being thrown around about different, party affiliations and, unification of parties that is coming around. We've already seen one taking shape. So the ideology is all these sideshows that they are playing. Remember, they negate Kenyans from talking about we still need an IBC. We still need justice for those Mlolongo 4 who are missing. We still need justice for Kina Rex and the 62 others who perished under this regime. We still need justice, for all the economic crimes that they keep doing every day. We can't be sitting and saying that, we have cabinet secretaries flying all around the country in choppers, and yet schools capitation has not been done. These are problems. These are very serious problems that Kenyans need to talk about. And that is why specifically I say this Mungiki is a sideshow, because I know it's for a very specific purpose. And the moment that purpose is achieved, they will all go quiet. And so I see your hand, Eli. So I'll land in the next 1 minute. So as I close my submission tonight, I still want to remind people to remain focused that this country deserves better. It deserves better from all of us in choosing our leaders. It deserves better from all of us in analyzing every single aspect of our economy, every single aspect of our social life, such that we are not swindled or hoodwinked or moved by the emotions of politicians. So if they fight, let them fight, but let us remain steadfast in the movement of asking for accountability, asking for justice, asking for good governance, because I believe Kenya deserves better, and I believe all of us should be believing in the same thing. So I thank you all. I wish you all a great night and a great week ahead. And hopefully, soon enough, Kenya will get better. Thank you.
Thank you very much, 254. Kenya will get better and Kenya deserves better. I just want to remind you one thing. You are not the only believer, because Trump today has been receiving Holy Spirit. Buka.
You're bad. You're a bad person. So this is what I'm gonna do. I need anybody who can give hata kama ni mia moja nini, whatever it is. I'm matching to a tune of 100,000 to for the conference ya March. Unanisikia? So what I'm asking is, sorry, Eli, I kind of hijacked your space. So what I'm asking is that we have a big conference coming in March. I will match anybody. Hata ukitoa mia moja, I match it. So can we do that before we close? That I, Justice for All, I will match every shilling. I was about to say every dollar. Every shilling that we can match for the conference. So go ahead, Obed and Eli. But I want people to come to the conference.
All right. Thank you very much, Justice for All. You know, the only thing is you have asked people too much. Where are they sending that money to your pocket? I know what you did there.
I
You want
know
us to
when Tumia,
publish the.
of course, you know what we mean. This is very good. You guys do hold a very beautiful, amazing space of all the universe. My question is to Tume Pesa, to the conference. Where's the? Do you guys have a? Where are we sending money to?
All right. I think for your interest and those of you who would love to be part of the conference, you can do that by simply going on to mizani254.org and our upcoming events, and you'll be able to be redirected to the sign up link. And our purpose driven leadership is the conference theme that will be running from the 13th to the 14th of March 2025 at Fred Ranch and Resort Isinya, Kenya. If you want to do what Ustawi and Bizani are doing, and you love just to be a contributor or donate, the business number is 400-200. I repeat, the business number is 400-200. The account number is 872-607. The
Don't miss.
name of the
Don't miss
account
that
number
conference. I
is
will match your funding if you do it in the next day. Let me not do the next hour, because next hour, that's a short period of time. So kama unataka ku support, wachana mambo ya Mungiki and militia. Me, I get supported by militias, by the way. No, but no.
all right. We'll continue this conversation another day. But for the interest, again, I repeat, the business number is 400-200, account number 872-607. The company name is Court FM Media LLC. So if you want to do that contribution or team up with Justice for All, you can always get in touch with him and he'll be able to help you further to be part of the contributors. But we would love for you to be part of the participants and the delegate. Go sign up. The sign up and early bird tickets are already on sale. So do that before they run out. Now, before Justice for All interrupted my slow thinking capacity, I was about to shoot a last minute question, but I won't do that. Buka, I'll give you 2 minutes to be able to make your final submissions. Thank you.
Yeah, first of all, Eli, thank you very much. I just wanted to um, say that militias, whether they are pro-government at one moment, they arise out of bare necessity to fulfill a given task that the government of the day are not fulfilling. And I really like the fact that Mali has been able to put into context how Mungiki came to be and what were its objective when it was formed, and now in whose interest does Mungiki serve at the moment, which is actually Mungiki is now a reactionary organization that serves the status quo, that actually boldens tribal politics and support an illegitimate government that has lost the popular public opinion. This is important to note. The second point that I also want to bring out is that all this deployment of Mungiki and its leaders at a particular region is to cause chaos and to make sure that we are distracted from the very objective that we want to achieve. So we must continue to remind ourselves that we went to the street to demand to live and coexist with one another in peaceful environment and to live with dignity. We went to the street to challenge the austerity measures. We also went to the streets to make sure that we demand better livelihood for our people. But in return, the state has reacted in the most, in the most heinous ways. In the sense, if it was not murder, it was extrajudicial killings, it was abductions, and now we are even now at the verge of lawlessness, where militias can go where there is government, they reign terror and leave, and no police will be bothered. That is the kind of person that we are dealing with. So all these reactions to the GNC uprising and our crisis in our country should continue to remind us that the person sitting at the State House, the Kenya Kwanza government, and their newfound friendship with the opposition is not interested for the national Kenyan project. They want to manage this country through hook and crook, interest, including unleashing illegal entities and militia to advance their personal goals. This is the conviction that we have continued to say that only convicted, they are in pursuit of personal interest and also to manage the Kenyan economy to safeguard certain relations with foreign powers. If we continue to remind ourselves that militias did not drop from heaven, that militias, now that they're being used by the state, only gives us a permanent reminder that there cannot be peace when only that peace safeguards the interest of a few individuals in the streets, not in the streets, but in government. In my exit outro, I would just like to bring revolutionary optimism. I know all of us are paying a big price in challenging the status quo in this country. We are paying a big price, putting our bodies on the streets, challenging this government, to face threats, abductions, and every, heinous act that can happen to innocent citizens. Let us not tire to do this. Let's continue to politicize all spaces, make sure that we challenge the government lies and falsehoods and narratives, bring out such spaces like Mizani 254 and Eli and Obeds have done today to make sure that we can speak truth to power and to mobilize people on our side, the side of the truth. That is important for us. Thank you, Eli.
Thank you very much. As always, Comrade Buka, welcomed here to submit your thoughts on the conversation. We are going to be closing in the next 4 or 5 minutes. So I'll invite Malia to give her final remarks. Then we'll go to Obeds for his outro and if any announcements, and then we call it a night. Malia, please.
Thank you. I wanted to just wind up with this issue of Narok. We are developing a very adversarial relationship with our security forces. When I looked at that video, I didn't even see the police officer's arm that was chopped off. So did those guys, when they took the bunduki, they also took the arm, or what really happened? But the thing is that the relationship between security forces and the citizens, when it becomes adversarial as it's now becoming, it's very dangerous because the citizens are the majority. In Kenya, for example, there's one policeman for about 17,000 people. In some areas where people have taken up arms, like those areas of West Pokot and the rest, it's ungovernable. It's impossible to subdue them. So I will advise security forces, why not bring back even that community policing thing they used to have? Because if we continue like this, it's going to turn out badly for the police. 9 of them, I believe, are now injured because of what happened. They must reconsider, as they call themselves, a police force, a service, not force, that can they go back to that mandate of being, when they see people on the road because the animals have been killed, they need to handle it with diplomacy because they are right in protesting. But if you come and try to force people off the road, and the animals, they've lost like 30 animals, that's a lot of money for those pastoralists. So that behavior is going to get out of hand of being high-handed in handling the citizens. And this is what used to happen even during the post-election period. in areas like Kisumu, whereby a police station like Kondele police station became uninhabitable after the people who were around there threw stones into the police station until the police station was like a quarry. So that approach which they have taken with this government of being adversarial against the citizenship is going to be a problem for them. They better change back and try to build bridges. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Malia, and we do want to welcome you on our upcoming spaces. So make sure you tune in. That is on Friday from 8 p.m. Obeds, the honors are all yours.
Thank you, Eli. I want to thank everyone who's taken their time to be here. And we never take it for granted that you always find time to sit, listen through, and contribute. We have a conference that this, for me, is not. It's all about us having an opportunity to be able to have a conversation physically, get to contribute, other than the spaces, get to know each other, know what is our expertise. Like right now, we trust that the people behind the microphone are real people. No suggestions otherwise, but it's important sometimes to put a name to a face, and that will make a world of a difference. And I really look forward to hosting as many of us because at Fred's Ranch, it's called the Grandmother's Place. There's always something for everyone. It's in a good place, and security. As somebody was threatening us that the government might decide to follow us, we are not doing anything illegal. We are doing what is right within the confines of the law, and our desire is to see a better Kenya. So look forward to that. I don't have much to put across in terms of um, somebody would think that probably in making connections or networking, you're not getting to interact to know each other. But you can't make a network, you can't create a network before you don't know. But I really believe that this is a good beginning for a better Kenya, because there's so many of us who are praying and wishing and asking for a better country. How about we work together? Maybe you create a political party from there. Maybe some people will probably get a husband, somebody will get a wife. Something good will come out of it, and I believe it's in the best interest. We had a conference in 2024, and it was a good experience and a good exposure, and we've seen people grow from that. So let's engage, see people, meet people. Then that's how we can make a difference. So thank you very much. I want to thank you all for this. Continue being the online militia. Make it difficult for government, not by insulting them, by telling them the truth. What they hate in this country is the truth. Keep reminding them. And don't be truthful men like the truthful man, but be people who are truthful because you mean exactly what you say. Thank you, Eli, and have a good night. And wherever you are, good day, good night. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You know, Obeds, when you talked about people connecting, I was waiting for the Bluetooth connection to be, completed, but it didn't work. But what I know is there are people who actually got a gig out of that conference to go and work for a week in Dar es Salaam, and it was quite an interesting connection for them. So you never know. Some of your working mates or your bosses could be just on these spaces. There are very rich men here like Kayo who will never tell you they produce films, but he might just call you for one. So please make an effort, show up for that event. In case you're wondering how to be able to sign up, we put there a video to show you how exactly to get onto the web and be able to sign up for the event. You have questions, email us at tickets@mizani254.org or info@mizani254.org, and we'll be more than pleasured to respond to you. I know that being said, we must call it a night. Justice, you have exactly 30 seconds to sema ikutoke.
Join in. If for whatever reason you cannot support the funding for joining in, reach out to us. So coming to the conference, mwezi wa tatu, will be there. The annoying person like myself will be there. I pray to be there, honestly. So thank you. My 30 seconds are gone. Thank you, Eli. Thank you, Obeds. You do the most amazing job that has ever been done in the universe.
Don't compare us
I
to
like you
God,
kids.
but it's all right. He's only
No,
one
I'm not
who
comparing to
told the
God.
mountains
You're
how
right.
far they can reach, but it's all right.
I'm not comparing to God.
Let's call it a night. Justice for all. Thank you very much for coming to the space. And special recognition. I've never seen this face on this space. Probably you guys come on and you leave without saying a word. But I have noticed there has been one of our listeners who has listened since we started towards the end. I think you allow me to call out your name, Stella Daniel. We do appreciate you tuning in. I've never seen you on the space, but whoever you are and wherever you're tuning in from, we do appreciate some of these gestures that you keep by staying on the space and listening so that you understand the beginning and the end of the conversation. And Wale, thank you so much for also being just busy with whatever you do. Activating on various stories and conversations, news and information, always welcomed to these spaces. The brave girl, it's great to see you. It is 2024 and 2025. We started on a fresh note. I hope this conversation is just going to plant new seeds of hope and prosperity for this country. Western, among others, even the man that keep challenging us and reminding us that this is a government-funded space. Oletunda, we do appreciate those comments. We just wish one day government will actually fund us to do the right job, because that's what we do best. Having said that, I want to thank the rest of you.
You forgot
And
anti-redemption.
yes, and anti-redemptor. And appear when we're just calling it a night, Ronyo among others. I can't mention all of you, but just know I appreciate and we appreciate all of you from the bottom of our hearts. Until next time, my name is Liquian Eli on behalf of Mizani 254, the rest of the crew. Have yourselves a great evening. See you on Friday from 8 p.m.
See you later.
Ila
Thanks.
tunapenda wapi
Thanks,
Joe?
thanks, Eli. Thanks, Obeds. Forever friends.